What's up, everybody? This is Mario. Hope you guys are having a great day. Go outside, have some fun, enjoy your life. So today I'm going to talk about something that you probably all have dealt with before, and that is somebody that I'm going to talk about somebody that I remember who had serious problems with drugs and alcohol. And I knew this guy since I was a kid. And back then in the 90s we grew up together. We went to the same school. Friend of the family pretty much. And we had a good time hanging out, and he was very, very smart. He's my age, same age as me when I was in school. He was my age, same grade. We both attended 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and in high school. This kid was very smart, had a really high GPA, knew a lot of different stuff about technology, started learning about computers, really knew how to put them together, how to program them. He studied C++ before it became a thing. He got into all that stuff, software manufacturing and things like that. He went to, we would hang out, and I'd keep an eye on him, and he'd keep an eye on me, and we'd take care of each other throughout the years. But he started hanging out with a crazy crowd, guys that I wouldn't hang out with, I'll tell you that. And he hung out with these people, and he started doing stuff that I really didn't approve of. What he was doing. But I said, you know what, let him be. So I did. And he hung out with these other people that we knew, and they were all scumbags, basically. And this one kid that hung out with him introduced him into various forms of painkillers. And basically he started taking these painkillers. He started getting into Vicodin, and he told me that he had problems because he fell, and he had a bad knees, and he had taken stuff because of his bad knees, and he said that his doctor approved it, and he would get it from his doctor, and I don't know, whatever somebody is like that will tell you that kind of story. But his biggest problem was he started getting really addicted to this stuff, and he started selling everything. Like, he started selling his computers, selling his TV, selling his phone, just whatever shit that he had in his house that it was his. He's selling it because he wanted to get more, and he couldn't hold a job because he had trouble holding a job, and that's all I remember. He had problems focusing. He couldn't focus if he wasn't on whatever he was on, or if he was on the Vicodin or not. I guess, I've never taken Vicodin, but for those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about. But, painkillers are a thing. And when somebody's going through that kind of shit, man, you really gotta try to talk to them and just be their friend. Don't try to force them to do anything. Just be their friend. If somebody's struggling like that, just try to be their friend. Anyway, for years and years and years, this went on, and he ended up getting kicked out of his house. And one time, I was at work, and I got a phone call from my parents, and they said that somebody broke in to the house, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, someone broke in. And I said, okay, call. You know what? I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. So I was on my way home from work. I went down to my house, went inside. I looked, and it's my friend, and it's him, and he broke the window. He broke the window and went into the basement. And I was like, dude, what is your problem? What the hell? He's like, I needed a place to stay, and is there anything you could do for me? I'm sitting there like, I gotta help him, so I helped him. He's like, I'm starving. Anything you can do for me? I'm hungry. So I went to McDonald's, and at that time they had their 50-cent cheeseburgers. So I went and bought a shitload of those cheeseburgers. Like, I had like $10 on me, so I bought a bunch of them, a whole big giant bag full of them, and then I brought them home and put them in the basement. This guy went at these cheeseburgers like I could not believe how he did it. He finished off like 10 cheeseburgers in like 15 minutes. I never seen anything like that. Anyway, we're going back and forth. I try to help him. I try to get him some money. He's struggling making money and getting his stuff. You know, he would get the money and then he would spend it on cigarettes, or he'd probably go and get more Vicodin. And I never seen anybody get addicted to this kind of stuff. This is the first time I ever seen anybody get crazy like this, and I experienced it. So he told me straight up, he goes, Mario, don't ever fall into this trap that I fell into with this shit. So I helped him for a long ass time, even though they kicked him out, even though he didn't have money, even though he scammed a lot of people, he scammed a lot of my friends, he scammed me, but I still helped him out. He had several different transactions of stuff that he was doing, and he made promises that he'd make me money, that he'd make this person money, and he would pocket all the money, everything. And I knew his plan. I knew what he was doing. I didn't like it, but I wanted him to be all right. So, you know, it's tough times. He didn't have a job, and I did. And when I was out of work, he would be at my house because my parents would let him in. And I told him, you got to stop letting him in. Not when I'm there. I mean, you know.
Enter your pickup at Ella's Italian.
So anyway, trouble was trouble, and he was a good kid, but yeah, excuse me, I have to open up the window for a second. Anyway, so I helped him out a lot, and I tried my best, man. At one point, there was a period where I was drinking a lot. I hung out with my friends and we were drinking a lot. And I mean a lot. And I'll never forget what happened was I drank this huge, big ass Carlo Rossi wine bottle. That was the big fucking jug that you get from like Jewel, the $15-$20 jug, and I drank that whole fucking thing all by myself one time at a party with my friend. I said I could drink the whole thing, and I drank the whole fucking thing. I was so trashed. I mean, like, damn, I drank so much of that shit. I started losing it, man, like shaking. I was laying in bed shaking. I couldn't focus. I started going crazy. Complete alcohol, trying to get it out of my system. I was losing it. Mega crazy. Long story short, man, I woke up and I was supposed to drive my parents someplace, and I woke up at 7 a.m., got in the car with them, and it was like 100 degrees outside, and I was having a manic episode, and I pulled over and I sat on the side of the road and I can't do this. And and certainly a whole bunch of times like that. That one time my parents called him and he actually came, picked me up. took me back to the house, and he said, "You know what? I'm gonna take you to the hospital." And he took me to the hospital. So I was totally trashed. Still the next day, totally trashed, and basically a whole bunch of shit went down. I ended up going to the hospital, and they said that I drank way too much, and then
Waiting for connection.
I had alcohol poisoning.
Bluetooth connection success.
It was a crazy time. And a lot of shit went down. I'm gonna start driving here so I can get closer. So anyway,
Turn left on North Addison Avenue.
he came through and he actually helped me out in that situation. He took me to the hospital. From there on, man, I said to myself, you know what, I'm not gonna drink like that no more. No more. That was it, man. I ain't playing around with that shit. I changed my life around. I remember him telling me, do not let this get the best of you. And this stuff, these words really, really helped me out. And I remember them still to this day. Well,
in a
I
quarter
went
mile,
through that
keep left
shit.
to stay on North Addison Avenue using the left lane.
I went through that shit, and I actually, stopped drinking. So I don't want to do it no more because my body couldn't handle it, and I couldn't fucking deal with the hangovers. So it just wasn't for me. Then later on, he quit doing the Vicodin finally, and he had some major problems doing so. He ended up having high blood pressure, and he quit the Vicodin and he started drinking. Well, he told me the only way to
Keep left
fucking
to stay on North Addison
stop
Avenue.
that shit is to stop Vicodin, is to start drinking. And so he drank a lot, man. He had quite a bit to drink. I'd go to his house every Sunday to check up on him and see how he's doing. And he had several boxes of vodka on the side, and he had several empty bottles as well. That was a crazy time, man. And I just wish, he could chill out from the fucking drinking, because he got rid of one addiction, replaced it with another, man. Sorry fellas, I'm driving here. I'm still getting the use of this channel here, but after a while, like years went by, and he would continuously drink every time, and I would check up on him every Sunday. I'd go walk over to his house and see how he's doing, and he was doing all right, but his blood pressure was kind of getting crazy, and he had several machines over there. He started selling his stuff again. He was like, I want you to sell some of my stuff for me online. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But he was drinking a lot, man, and that was a really bad thing. Well, it was his thing, and I couldn't tell him otherwise. Well, one day I woke up and I went to work, and around noon I got a phone call from my mom, and I picked it up, and she goes, you know what? He passed away. And that was shocking. Turns out he ended up having he went and he had a stroke at 43 years old, at my age. So it's crazy. And I miss him. I tried to help him. There wasn't much that we could do for him, but I did love him, and we were all very close, and we miss him. So if you know anybody that's struggling, try your best to help them out, but don't push them over. But don't forget about them. Check up on them and see what the hell they're doing. Oh, thank you for watching. Have a good evening. This is Mario. Thanks for watching. Laters.